Hello again, everybody. Aaron Fitt and Kendall Rogers with you here in video. How about this? A little something new to start the 2020 season, Kendall. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about the first weekend in college baseball. Of course, we've spent the last month and a half previewing the season. And so if you've missed any of our season preview content, check that out. Got previews up for all 30 conferences now. Position power rankings for every position. We've got prospect rankings up. Lots and lots of content to check out at D1Baseball.com. Kendall, happy opening week to you. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I'll be doing a lot better when I'm out in Arizona and it's 75. I know it won't be anywhere near 75 in Oxford this weekend, though, right?
Yeah, I think we're looking at a high in the mid 40s in Oxford tomorrow. A little warmer over the weekend, but
Yeah.
it's going to be cold.
Well, that's an interesting series, Aaron. You look at number one Louisville against Ole Miss being one of those teams who's entering the season really young, but they're really talented. And so you look at Louisville having that number one ranking. Everybody's going after them this year. You know how they handle that. You look at Ole Miss, Doug Nikhazy dealt with some off the field issues, but he will start this week, and they kind of took care of things internally. What are you kind of looking forward to in that series besides kind of the obvious items?
Yeah, the pitching matchup. So that's the big
Yeah,
thing. This the real reason I was excited to go to this series. In addition to the fact that it's two good teams, is
yeah,
you know get a look at Reed Detmers, get a look at Doug Nikhazy, two of the best left-handers in the country. Has Bobby Miller been able to turn the corner? We heard those great reports about his stuff
yeah,
in the fall. Let's see if he can throw strikes. If he does, I mean, he can be one of the lead starters in the country with a fastball that reaches 100 miles an hour and
yeah.
sliders like 90. I mean, it's filthy, and he for changeup. So all the ingredients are there. Let's see if he's ready to take that next jump to superstardom. And of course, Gunnar Hoagland, kind of the same thing. This guy was a first round pick out of high school, had his ups and downs as a freshman. I saw him first time out of the chute in the fall, Kendall, and it was really good. I mean, I thought the command was good. The fastball was firm. Everything was a little crisper, all the secondary stuff. So those arms are the headliners. And Luke Smith, of course, I'll see. And all those young arms for Ole Miss, all the freshmen. It's a great freshman class. So a lot of things to be excited about with that series.
Yeah, and Luke Smith, even though he finished with an ERA above 4 last year, if anybody watched the way he pitched in Omaha, specifically against Vanderbilt, he was amazing in that game. So, Louisville's in business if he pitches that way for most of the season. Of course, when you look at Ole Miss, look at those guys offensively with Tyler Keenan and Anthony Servideo back and guys like that. Even though they have some holes to fill clearly off from an offensive standpoint, they could be pretty good offensively, especially with those two kind of leading the way.
Let's shift gears and talk about your weekend out in Arizona. There's a lot of good teams out there. Going to be a lot of good baseball.
Yeah.
I'll be bouncing around from site to site, but what are you most excited about?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is getting a look at some of these teams that have some new faces. You look at Oregon State out in surprise. The Mitch Canham era begins last year. Pat Bailey, the interim head coach, Mitch Canham, one of the original O-State Ballas, coming back to be the head man at Oregon State. How do the Beavers look without pitching coach Nate Yeskie, without some pretty key arms? Christian Chamberlain, Jake Mulholland, both guys, Aaron, as you well know, have been mainstays in that bullpen. Now they're starting pitchers. Can they go 5, 6, 7 innings as starters? That'll be kind of a question mark for me. And of course, kind of going more east of the Desert Valley there, you look at, Michigan, obviously coming off the national runner-up finish. They're loaded. Can they kind of continue that momentum? Vandy, everybody spent the whole offseason talking about how great Kumar Rocker is, and deservedly so. But this year, he's a guy that, everybody's going to be going after. He's going to get everybody's best effort in the box. And so I'm interested to see how Kumar Rocker looks. And, of course, the talented freshman for Vandy, Jack Leiter. And down at Phoenix Community, I cannot wait for the Saturday night game between Michigan and Arizona State. I feel like Arizona State, this is kind of their coming out party. I mean, they showed flashes of it last year when they started out so hot, but this is a team now with a premier pitching coach in Jason Kelly. They've got nice arms. You look at Cooper Benson, the freshman. You look at Justin Fall, the JUCO transfer. Boyd Vanderkoy, guys like that. And then you look at the offense of Spencer Torkelson. He's already launching torque bombs in their scrimmages. So just how Arizona State handles now being a highly ranked team who everybody expects to be amazing, because quite frankly, they haven't kind of earned that status the last few years. So how do they handle that? I think they handle it great, but I'm really intrigued to see how they go against a battle-tested Michigan club.
And a couple other things that I'm excited about here in week one. I think Oklahoma and Virginia down in
Yep.
Pensacola is a really intriguing series. First look probably at Nate Savino. I would expect. I looked at their rotation. I assume he's starting one of those games. And the blue chip freshman, regarded as a potential number 1 overall pick in the draft if he hadn't reclassified. Let's see if he's ready now. Without a fall of conditioning. Let's see how he does hitting the ground. And course, Cade Cavalli and Levi Prater, all those great arms we've heard about.
Zach
Bullpen
Matthews.
Matthews. I mean, all the gas that they've got on the
Yeah.
Oklahoma staff. I mean, and let's see if Drift McGarry and Mike Vassell, who were kind of disappointing last year with their command, let's see if they're ready to harness their stuff, because their stuff is good. And if those guys can figure it out, and you have Jesden Harrington, the veteran, Virginia, I think is going to be pretty good, because I really like their lineup.
Yeah, kind of down here in the state of Texas, even though I'm leaving, I actually am really intrigued by that Rice Texas series. These are two programs, obviously storied programs, that obviously last year both were, quite frankly, pretty bad. I mean, Texas finished last in the Big 12. Rice wasn't close to making the postseason. And so you look at Matt Braga trying to make a move. You look at Texas kind of, trying to reestablish order there in Austin. And so I'm really intrigued to see, how that Texas rotation does with Bryce Elder, Ty Madden, is Cole Quintanilla, a guy that last year, if you remember, going into that TCU series, he was one of the better closers in college baseball. He blows one game and he was bad the rest of the year. So, does Texas kind of reestablish that bullpen? I think Texas has the arms, but we'll see if they have the bats this year. Of course, the two young guys on the left side of the infield, Trey Faltini and Andre Duplantier, who Duplantier will miss this weekend because he's hurt. But both those guys, as the season progresses, are two really talented freshmen to keep an eye on. So I'll be interested to see how that series unfolds.
Couple of interesting Midwest programs that are going to be starting up down at SEC Powers. Wright State, I think, is really frisky.
Yeah.
A lot of talent, athleticism, some power arms on that team. They're going down to Mississippi State, which of course is loaded. Indiana is a team we projected to make a regional out of the Big Ten, but there's a whole new look to that Indiana team. They have a lot of turnover. They brought in some impact transfers. Let's see how those guys do down at LSU. And then, Kendall, one more to touch on here. Cal State Fullerton at Stanford, big rivalry series, always one of the highlights of the early part of the season. So keep an eye on that series as well. But that's going to do it for us today here at D1 Baseball. We'll have writers all over the place this weekend, of course, and all season long. So make sure you check us out at D1Baseball.com.